Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. I came home with a dozen red roses because I was still playing by the rules I believed in. I hung my jacket, stepped past the shoe rack, and handed the bouquet to my wife like it was any other Thursday kindness. She didn't even look at me. She glanced at the flowers, then at the trash can near the island. Set them by the garbage. I'll toss them tomorrow. I stood there a second, roses in my hand, kitchen light buzzing, her thumb sliding across her phone. If I'd known where this was headed, I'm telling you now, I would have saved the cash and bought myself earplugs. I didn't make a speech. I put the bouquet in the sink, ran the tap just enough to keep them alive, and leaned on the counter. You out with the girls tonight? I asked. Obviously. She kept scrolling. We've talked about this. We haven't, actually. We've avoided it. She snorted. Don't start. Not starting anything, I replied. Just telling you I remember when we had dinner together on Thursdays. Yeah, well, she said, plans change. I held her stare a couple beats, then grabbed a pan and started searing chicken like it was any other day. She moved past me, brushed my elbow like I was furniture, and sprayed perfume near the door. Right before she left, she turned back with the smile people use at staff meetings. Don't wait up. Wasn't planning to. I answered, and let the door close behind her. If I'd had the map then, I might have taken a different road. But maps are for people told the truth. I still thought we could fix it. The next morning I sat across from her at the small kitchen table, coffee between us, cereal in front of her, my plate untouched. We've been off, I opened. Cold. Short. I'm not going to pretend it's fine. What do you need from me to make this marriage feel like a team again? Wow, she replied, spoon tapping the bowl. So now you want a performance review? Think of it like maintenance. Car rattles, you check the bolts. She rolled her eyes. You always need an analogy. I need a conversation, I said, keeping my tone even. If there's something I'm missing, say it. I'll own my part. Your part, she echoed. Sure. Your part is big. That's vague. Maybe if you weren't so busy playing hero at work, she said, I wouldn't feel like an afterthought. I've skipped more than one Friday just to be home, I reminded her. And your after-work plans? They've multiplied. Her phone lit up. She thumbed a reply while I watched the clock. I'm not doing this before my day starts, she added, pushing back her chair. I nodded once. Fair. Then here's where I'm at. I'm not chasing you around the city for 10-minute windows. Tonight there's dinner at 6. If you want to be there, great. If not, I'm changing the schedule around what actually exists. She froze. Is that a threat? It's clarity. I took a sip of coffee. Also, starting this week, I'm splitting our discretionary budget. Separate accounts for discretionary spending. Bills stay joint, extras don't. You're punishing me? I'm drawing lines, I replied. No drama. Adult structure. If we're not a couple in practice, I'm not funding girls' night like it's team building. That's pathetic, she snapped. What's pathetic? I countered. Is pretending we're good while we barely speak. She grabbed her purse. I'll be late tonight. Copy, I said, and collected the mugs. Our neighbor Hank caught me outside when I took the trash out. Retired electrician, starched jeans, tells the truth more than he should. You too, all right? He asked, nodding at the roses I'd tucked behind the bin like I was hiding luck. We're checking bolts, I told him. Don't let anyone treat you like a spare tire, he said, lifting a brow. You know the rule. Attention goes where respect lives. Message received. I took the bin to the curb. At 6, I set 2 plates. By 6:15, I wrapped hers in foil. At 8, she came in laughing into her phone, tossed her heels near the couch, and floated past the table. Eat already? She asked like she was doing inventory. Hours ago, I said. You could have waited. You could have come home. She shrugged. You're so sensitive lately. Sensitive is not my brand, I told her. Direct is. She had a new hobby now, finding the one word that turned a problem from ours to mine. She was getting good at it. My initiative stood, though. I moved my gym time to evenings. I booked a Saturday project at work. I stopped blocking my schedule around the fantasy version of our home life. 2 nights later, she found me assembling a bookshelf in the office. How long is that going to be here? She asked, gesturing to the tools. Until it's built. This room was supposed to be for guests. We never have guests, I replied, tightening a screw. Also, I'm moving my work stuff in here. Separate spaces. Less chance to step on each other. So now you need your own wing? I need function, I said. Nobody likes tripping over promises. She scoffed. Whatever makes you feel in charge. It's not about power, I told her, wiping my hands. It's about not living in gray areas. I'll be at the shop late tomorrow, by the way. You love reminding me you're busy. I love avoiding fights. Good luck with that, she muttered. It should have stung. It just informed me. The first real turn didn't come with a shout. It came with a whisper I wasn't supposed to hear. It was Tuesday. I left work early to beat a storm and swung by the house to grab a jacket. Her car was in the driveway. Inside, the hall was quiet. I set my keys in the bowl and heard her voice carry from the kitchen, low and clipped in the way people talk when they're planning, not sharing. Just a little longer, she said to someone on speaker. Then I'll take everything. Watching him scramble is going to be entertaining. I froze near the doorway. The smell of lemon cleaner, a pot cooling on the stove, and that sentence sitting in the room like a blade. There was a pause, then her voice again. He won't see it coming. The attorney said the first step is to move titles. Scare him with talk of ending it. You'll help me, right? My hand was already on my phone. I didn't get the lead in. I did get the last part. I hit record, angled the camera toward the floor, so I wasn't filming her, just getting the audio, and captured her exact words about first step and move titles and do it through the process. Timing matters, the other voice said. Female. Confident. I caught the tone, not the name. I know, she laughed softly. Trust me. I stopped recording, slipped the phone back in my pocket, and walked into the kitchen like I'd just landed from Mars. Hey, I greeted casual. Storm's rolling in. You cooking? She jumped a little, then pasted on a smile. I was thinking of making pasta. You home early. Traffic was miserable, I said, strolling to the fridge. I grabbed a bottle of water, snapped the cap, and took a drink. Her phone stayed on the island, still connected, the tiny timer ticking on the call. She didn't hang up. She turned it face down. You okay? She asked, too bright. Long day. Standard, I replied. Yours? Busy, she said, eyes locked on mine. Lots of planning. I'm sure. I opened a cabinet, like I cared about spices, and heard the faint sigh from the phone. She finally hit end. You want pasta or not? She asked. I'll pass, I told her, and headed to the office. I closed the door behind me and sat in the chair I'd moved there 2 days earlier, and I played that 30-second clip 5 times. At first I tried to explain it away. Stress, clumsy venting, jokes that aren't funny. By the third replay, the words weren't blurry anymore. They were precise. I texted my friend Angela, contractor by day, laser-eyed human by nature. Hypothetically, I wrote, if someone wanted to move titles around to someone else fast, what would that look like? She called immediately. Hypothetically, it would look like you being asleep at the wheel. What? Just checking something. You need to get your eyes open, she warned. If people around you are pushing you to sign random paperwork, do not. Bring it to someone who works for you. I hear you. Do you? She went quiet for a beat. Because you sound like you'll find a reason not to. I heard you, I repeated. Thanks. I stared at the phone another minute, then stood. The storm hit, rain punching the windows, and I felt oddly calm. I've always been clear when a deal smells off. This wasn't different. It just wore my wife's face. She knocked on the office door a few minutes later and cracked it with a rehearsed softness. Hey, she offered. I shouldn't have been short earlier. Dinner's ready if you want it. That was fast, I replied. It's just pasta. You should eat something. Thanks, I said, and joined her at the table. She made a show of sliding a bowl toward me. I know I've been out a lot. I'm juggling things. Me too. I'll try to be home more, she added, eyes studying my reaction. This weekend, we could do the trail by the lake. You like that one? Sure, I answered neutral. Let me know the time. If I don't hear by Friday noon, I'll make other plans. She tilted her head. Since when are you so scheduled? Since drifting got expensive, I said, and twirled the pasta. She laughed lightly, reached for my hand, squeezed, and then let go. It was the smallest apology I'd seen from her in months. It would have worked on me a year ago. I ate my dinner, thanked her, and washed my bowl. I didn't change my new rules. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. In the office, I created a new folder on my laptop labeled House. I scanned mortgage docs into it. I checked every login we shared. I printed the audio transcript and tucked it behind a manual in the bottom drawer. I wasn't going to stage a fight. I was going to stage an exit. I met with an attorney the next morning. Downtown, ninth floor, quiet lobby. He listened while I laid it out and watched my face like men do when they're checking if the other guy is lying to himself. You recorded the end of the conversation? He clarified. I did. Do not send it to anyone. He held out his hand. I handed him the phone. He transferred the clip, then gave the phone back. This alone shuts down most of what she's brewing. It shows intent to use the process as leverage, not protection. I can't believe I'm here, I admitted. You don't need to believe it, he replied. You need to act. Here's my advice. Keep your routine. Don't tip her off. I'll draft what we need. When timing suits you, you deliver. Do not sign anything she or her friends place in front of you. You leave it with me. Understood. Good, he said, pushing a legal pad toward me. List all titled assets. Vehicles. House. Retirement. I want a complete picture. And start separating lifestyle expenses immediately. Not to punish. To define. Done already, I said. He gave a rare smile. You're ahead of most. Back at work, my foreman, Luis, cornered me by the loading dock. He's been around longer than me. Father of three, loud laugh, quiet wisdom. You look like a man who slept with his boots on, he observed. Rough couple days, I admitted. You need coverage for next Thursday? I can swap you off the late delivery. Keep me on it, I told him. Late delivery is perfect. You sure? I'm sure, I said. I've got some scheduling to manage. That afternoon, I moved the last of my gear into the office at home and installed a simple lock on the drawer with the folder. I didn't hide it like a spy. I just made sure the important stuff wasn't lying around like bait. She noticed the next night. She came in around 9, dropped on the couch, and called out, "Why is the office door locked?" "Because it's my office," I answered, walking in from the garage with a bag of bolts. "So now we do locked doors?" "Now we do closed projects," I said. "What I'm working on stays put. Same way your group chats are your business." She smirked. Nervous about something? "Comfortable," I replied. She stood, sauntered to the kitchen, opened a bottle of wine, poured herself a glass, and leaned back on the counter like she owned the air. "You've been different," she noted. "Less eager." I adjusted to the schedule we actually have. "That's all. You think you can punish me into caring more?" "I don't do punishments," I said. "Consequences are just what happens when reality shows up. You make everything sound like a policy memo. It beats guessing." I put the bolts away and started the dishwasher. She came closer. "Maybe we should reset," she offered suddenly. "No more sniping. Dinner Friday. Just us." "That's the second time you suggested time together right after I drew a line," I pointed out. "Don't make it weird," she said. "I'm not. I'm noticing timing. Take the win." She pushed, eyes bright for the first time in weeks. 7 o'clock? Text me by noon Friday. I reminded her. If it's a yes, I'll be there. She clinked her glass against the counter and walked away. It felt like progress on the surface. Underneath, it felt like strategy. Friday came with no text. At 1, I sent Luis a message. "On for tonight's run." At 6, I ate a burger at the shop and got home at 10. She wasn't there. At midnight, she wasn't there. Saturday morning, I was at the gym at 7 while she slept until 10. When she finally came to the kitchen in a robe, she sniffed the air and wrinkled her nose. "You made eggs?" she asked. "And bacon. Want some?" "I'm meeting the girls." "Of course," I said. Around noon, she poked her head into the garage, where I was organizing shelves. "We should clean out the attic next weekend," she tossed out. "There's old stuff up there I've been meaning to go through." "Send me a list," I said. She frowned. "It's fine. We'll just do it." "I'll need the list," I repeated without looking up. I'm done with vague. If it's not planned, it doesn't happen. She lingered a second, then left. That was mid-turn number 1, soft voice, small invitation. It hit a wall and slid off. 4 days later, I found the folder on the kitchen table. Not mine. Hers. She'd left it there like a carrot. "Hey," she called from the hallway. "Can you look at some home paperwork? Just routine updates. It'll take a second." "Leave it," I replied, washing my hands. She joined me by the sink, leaned her hip against the counter. It's boring stuff. I wouldn't ask if it mattered. Then it doesn't need me, I said, drying off. If it actually matters, it goes to my guy. Your guy? She laughed. Oh, your new guy. That's cute. Cute is the wrong word. I slid the folder aside like junk mail. Anything important goes through him. She lifted her chin. You don't trust me? I trust process, I answered. Saves people from themselves. You're being dramatic. I'm being thorough. She walked away, muttering something about control. I let it die. That same afternoon, my attorney called. Ready for the packet? He asked. Yes. Pick it up today. Keep it sealed. You'll know when to use it. I already do, I said. You're calm, he observed. I prefer winning to whining. Good, he said. I grabbed the packet on my way back from a job site. Thick, clean, crisp. I put it in my office drawer and went about the rest of my day. I didn't rehearse anything. I didn't draft speeches. You don't need speeches when your position is clear. The moment came sooner than I expected. I walked in one evening and knew something was off before I hit the kitchen. Laughter. Too bright. Voices I didn't recognize. I turned the corner and there they were. My wife at the head of the table, two of her friends flanking her like they were reviewing a budget, glasses in front of them, folder dead center like a centerpiece. Hey, honey, she purred, sweet enough to give a dentist work. Sit with us. We need to talk. One of her friends, tall, sharp Bob, blazer inside my house like we were at a meeting, smiled like I'd been promoted. The other, the one with the loud nails, tapped the table with a rhythm that said the show was about to start. I set my keys down. Evening. Come on, my wife urged, patting the chair. Sit. I sat. No point standing for a performance. She slid the folder toward me. I haven't felt secure, she began, soft, reasonable. Everything is in your name. If you decided you were done with me one morning, I'd be out on the street. That's a terrible feeling. I watched her face. Kindness painted on like makeup. That's fixable, the bob hair friend chimed in. Fairness matters. Exactly, my wife agreed. So we've got a simple set of documents. It's not a big deal. You sign, I can relax, and we keep building this life. Her other friend added a laugh like a garnish. You're a good guy? Good guys protect their wives. My wife nodded quickly. You can read it if you want, but honestly, it's all boilerplate. Let me guess, I replied, leaning back. Boilerplate that moves the house title to you for simplicity and maybe adds a clause or two about clarifying ownership. Her smile faltered. Don't make this awkward. It's practical, bob hair friend inserted. A man like you understands practical. Practical is my hobby, I said calmly. And here's the practical truth. I don't sign anything put in front of me at my kitchen table by people who don't live here. You don't trust me? My wife repeated louder now. I don't trust this setup, I answered. It isn't honest. Wow, she scoffed. Listen to yourself. Paranoid. Nervous is when a man shakes. I'm steady. I pulled the drawer key from my pocket, unlocked the office drawer behind me, and slid out the sealed packet my attorney gave me. I placed it on the table like a dealer laying down a card. What's that? She asked, voice thinner. Since we're discussing security, I said, let's talk about it. If you don't feel safe here and you want things in your name, we can solve that. I've already signed what solves it. She reached for the packet. I put 2 fingers on it and slid it back to the center. You said you don't feel protected in this marriage, I continued. You're about to be very protected from anything I do. Her friends glanced at each other. The one with the nails stopped tapping. What is it? My wife demanded. An end to the confusion, I replied. I opened the packet, pulled out the top document, and turned it around so the signature page faced them. My name sat there in ink. You misread everything, bob hair friend blurted, pink rising in her face. I read enough, I said, including a certain short conversation at our counter. You remember, the one where you discuss first step is to move titles and timing matters. My wife went white, then red. You recorded the last part. I finished. Just the part that matters. You looked me in the eye and left the call open while you tested how gullible I was. So when you say security, what you mean is leverage. Here's mine. She stood so fast her chair squealed. You're twisting this. I was venting. People don't use the word step when they're venting, I replied. They use it when they're following a plan. You can't do this, Nailfriend snapped. I already have, I said, tapping the signature. If your aim was to keep me in a position where I'd sign whatever you cooked up, that's over. If your aim was to walk out of here with benefits I earned, that's over too. My wife slammed her palm on the table. You don't get to blindside me. This is the opposite of a blindside, I answered. It's the cleanest heads up you'll ever get. Her voice rose. You think this makes you a man? Throwing paperwork at me like I'm an enemy? What makes me a man, I said, is refusing to sit quietly while someone smiles and reaches for my pockets. You're not listening, Bob Hare insisted, trying a softer pitch. We're talking about safety. I'm listening fine, I told her. Here's my last word for tonight. You two can help her pack. Not because I want a scene, but because I'm not living with someone who treats me like a mark. If you're still here in an hour, I call my guy, and this all accelerates in ways you won't enjoy. You're bluffing, Nail Friend tested. Call it, I said. My wife realized in that second that the performance was over. The smile, the soft voice, the stage concern, none of it had purchase anymore. When control slips, some people cry. She chose a different setting. You will regret this, she hissed. I stood. You've been promising entertainment, I replied. Consider this my counter-programming. I left them at the table, walked to the bedroom, grabbed a duffel, and set it by the door. When I came back, the two friends were whispering, faces tight. My wife was breathing hard and scrolling her phone like it owed her. Clock's ticking, I said. They moved. It wasn't graceful. It didn't need to be. They scooped armfuls from the closet, shoved shoes into a bag, and argued about what was hers. I let them argue. I didn't raise my voice. When the hour hit, they were out front with bags and a car idling at the curb. I opened the door wider. She turned back one more time. You'll call me tomorrow, she predicted. You'll beg. No, I told her, holding the frame. You'll test that theory on someone else. Then I shut the door and turned the lock. I didn't lean on it. I didn't sag. I just stood for a second in my own house and listened to the quiet. Quiet is underrated. For a week, I heard nothing. That's not an accident. It's a consult. Her group needed time to figure out why the usual script didn't work. They read the wind, didn't like it, and changed tactics. Day 8, mid-afternoon, I walked out of the shop, and there she was by the curb, sunglasses on, hands shaking like a rhythm she couldn't stop. Can we talk? She asked, stepping close. I'm headed back in 10, I said, checking my watch. Please, she whispered, eyes welling. I messed up. I got caught up in stupid advice and pride and, I don't know, I wasn't myself. You were exactly yourself, I replied. I love you, she pressed. I do. I want to fix it. I'll prove it. I'll go to counseling. I'll delete numbers. I'll stop going out. You want forgiveness, I answered. You don't want change. Change started the minute I set rules you couldn't bend. She reached for my arm. I didn't step back. I didn't step closer. I let the space decide. Please, she begged. I can't do life without you. You'll have to try, I said, and walked past her. Coward. She spat behind me, mask dropping, voice snapping hard. You think you're noble? You're scared of real commitment. I kept going. Luis watched from the loading dock, expression unreadable. You good? He asked when I stepped back inside. Better than good, I said. Looked rough. Looked like closure, I answered. That was the second smokescreen. Tears, promises, dramatic confession. It hit the same wall as the first, because my decision didn't live in my feelings. It lived in facts. The process went cleanly after that. She tried a few angles through messages. I didn't bite. My guy handled the rest. She left most of her things in the closet, expecting I'd store them like a museum. I boxed them, called a charity, and asked for pickup. A young guy with a clipboard showed up, grateful for the haul. You redecorating? He asked with a grin. Something like that, I said, signing the form. First night alone, I made a simple dinner and ate it at the table with the spot across from me empty on purpose. I cut the cable we never watched together anymore. I fixed the leaky faucet she swore never mattered. I slept well. You don't realize how loud disrespect is until it's gone. Hank saw the donation truck and ambled over. Big spring cleaning, he joked. Winter cleaning, I corrected. He nodded. You look lighter. Clarity sheds weight, I told him. He tipped his cap. Proud of you, son. People think love is the thing. Respect is the thing. Without it, you're just holding sand. True enough, I said. A week later, I sat on my porch with coffee while the sun climbed over the roofs across the street. Angela texted a photo of a finished kitchen island she'd built. "Progress looks good," she wrote. "How's yours?" "Strong and quiet," I replied. "Keep it that way," she shot back. "Proud of you for acting like a grown-up. Only way I know." At work, things clicked. I picked up a client I'd been chasing for months. Luis and I hammered out a better schedule that gave my guys more weekends. The shop ran smoother. When you stop spending energy on someone else's drama, you suddenly have energy for your life. 2 months out, on a Saturday, I hit the hardware store for lumber and came home with more than I needed, because that's how it goes. I spent the afternoon building a workbench in the garage the way I like it: solid, squared, functional. I put my tools in order and shut the light off, feeling like I'd ordered my head in the process. Friends asked about her without asking. I gave them the truth without the gossip. Didn't work out, I'd say. We wanted different things. I wanted respect. Most people nodded. The ones who knew, knew. Life didn't become a parade. It became mine. I started meeting a friend group for pickup hoops on Wednesdays. Sunday mornings I cooked for myself, and sometimes for someone who liked quiet more than attention. A woman named Claire who runs her own small design shop and reads the room like a pro. No rush. No speeches. Just grown people who understand time is the only luxury you can't buy twice. I don't keep tabs on my ex. I don't need to. News flows through towns without help. Someone mentioned she moved into a smaller place with one of the friends from that kitchen table. Someone mentioned the friend didn't stay long. Someone mentioned the friend now avoids me at the grocery store. None of it is my problem. What matters is this: the house is peaceful. The office is actually an office. The bookshelf I built holds more than it should. The roses I buy now sit in a vase because I like them, not because I'm trying to earn air. If you asked me for one sentence to sum it up, here it is: I didn't win by shouting. I won by making decisions a man can live with. The last time she texted, months ago, it was simple: "I hope you're happy." I looked out at the yard I mowed early because I wanted the lines clean. I glanced at the truck in the drive I paid off myself. I heard Claire laughing on the porch with Hank about his insistence that every tool must be older than he is. I set the phone down and answered with the last words I'll ever send her: "I am." Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.